The village of Saliceto lies in the hills of the Castagnnicia in the interior of northeast Corsica. It was built during the Genoese period, which spans the 15th, 16th and 17th centuries. The village is named after Antoine Salicetti, born in 1757, who later became a politician and soldier. Saliceto village consists of many tower houses built as defences to protect the families in times of local feuding.
This is the village square in Saliceto, and I'm going to show you the way up to our apartment. This is the mayor's office, the Marie. This is the way up. These are the steps. The final effort you have to make after a long day walking. Come in here. See, it echoes like a cave. And up here we've got a huge carved out of the rock our apartment. Above me is our balcony. This is the first morning. It's September the 3rd today, and after yesterday's wet arrival and heavy rain all day and all night, it's cleared up quite nicely. It's about 20 degrees, and we've just been to the supermarket to buy the supplies before building the bikes up to set off on our first cycle ride from the village. And we're going to start here, Saliceto, and we're going to cycle this loop here down into the valley, along the river, and then back up all the zigzags back to the village. We decided to go on. That village there is where it goes through, and it goes through that pass there. Had a bite to eat on the coal by a shooting hut, and we're heading downhill now all the way down into the valley where the main road, the N193, runs from Court to Pontlecchia. Furiously heavy rain and wild thunderstorms. The mountains are just pouring with water now, and it's all running out down the road. We've just left the village. It's still raining, but not as hard. And this is what the road's like now. It's just flooding over the road all along it. Oh, car coming.
What day is it today?
It's day 2 of our warm, hot, sunny Mediterranean holiday on Corsica. And another day and night of heavy rain.
So what are we doing now again?
We're doing our secret valley walk up to the Bergeries and possibly the Bocca, the one we attempted last week in the rain. And this is it today in good weather.
Weather improving?
Yeah, it seems to be. It's gone very warm. End of the road, you can't cross the stream, it's in flood. So we're going to have to turn back.
There's no way across that I can see that's safe enough anyway.
This is as far as we got last time when it was in flood. And so today I think we can probably cross.
Well, after 2 attempts, we've finally reached the Bergeries, or the shepherd's huts. Well, let's have a look. Just what you want for a decent night's sleep. Monday's dinner time stop. We've just started the descent now. It took us about 3 hours going up, so it should take us slightly less going down, so you're looking at about 2:55 I think.
This is the path down to Saliceto beach, and it's for 12 kilometres this sandy path, and it varies between quite good like this and then steep bits with bedrock. Are we nearly there yet?
Another 5 miles. Right, your turn.
Just let the mud settle.
Well, we're about an hour and a half into the 3,000 foot ascent. Tour de France? I laugh in the face of it.
Walking up the GR20 to there, and then we're turning off and going over the ridge which is directly ahead of us back to where we dropped down the GR20 from the other way. This is the ridge, this one, okay.
Well, we're following this red and white symbol, which signifies that it's the GR20, or the Grande Randonnée route. Or as we say from Crewe, we're starting it, it's the Grand Route starting from the car park, which is one of the hardest walking routes, well, the hardest walking routes in Europe, and certainly Corsica.
Just about turned up now, the main GR20 route. Just saying, I think we're heading up for that one, that little summit there that's just in that light cloud.
Constantly astound myself with my agility. I'm just like a mountain goat, rather.
Friday today, and we're doing a bike ride from the Col de Plateau, which is 985 metres, pretty high up, and it's where you start the walk to San Petroni.
Well, the start of the bike ride consisted of an hour and a half downhill without pedalling. And you know what's coming now, don't you? Yes, 3,000 foot of ascent in 30 degrees sunshine. Thank you. That's cheating.
What are you doing?
I must have been asleep. I dreamt I was cycling uphill.
In 30
Must have been
degrees.
asleep at the wheel.
Saturday and we're walking towards the Tighetto hut on the GR20. And that up ahead is Paglia Orba.
Well, we're just about to leave this track now, then head off up the footpath, which is just here.
As you can see from the marks, we're back on the GR20 on our way towards the Tighetto hut where we camped back in 1991.
When I clap my hand, I'm going to disappear.
Sunday today, we've just passed lots of people out with guns lining the roads as they're waiting for the wild boar to be driven onto the road by the hunting dogs. But we've parked here, this remote village at the end of a dead-end road, and the idea is to follow this dashed line over a pass, skirting the southern slopes of San Petrone, and then down and back to Saliceto. But the forecast isn't so good apparently for this afternoon, and we're not sure how long this is going to take, so it's all a bit of a see how we go. And then George is going to cycle back and pick the car up later.
Local villagers, young and old, make a special pilgrimage along this ancient pathway for an August Mass on the summit of Mont San Petrone.
They don't go to the supermarket here for their Sunday roast, they just go up the hill and shoot it. The barbecue's already going in the village in preparation. One last look at the view south before we head into the woods that clothe the slopes of San Petrone. Lovely deep dark green beech woods. Turned off the main Petrone path now, and we're following this path here with yellow dots that should end up down in Saliceto. Today we're cycling from Saliceto to Busticano, and we're about halfway now, and we're just calling in at little medieval villages on the way. And what we're hoping to do is one day, not necessarily this holiday, is drive to Busticano and leave the car, then walk back on a long distance path which eventually leads to the foothills of San Petrone there, and then walk back down into Saliceto. It's a good long day's walk, because we've been cycling for 2 hours now and we're still not there. This is last night's tea, leftover. It's spinach pie with feta cheese, and then it's a pasta with fennel and garlic and spinach and pine nuts. The village is busy getting in log supplies and stores built up for the winter, because last winter they had 1.5 metres of snow in one snowfall in one go. Imagine that, it'd be up to here.
Well, here we are again on the car park at Fort Asco, and we're about to embark again on another day's walk on the Grande Randonnée van, or the GR20, up to the Cirque de Solitude, which is one of the more difficult sections on the GR20. How far up are we?
Well, we're probably halfway up now through the top of the Cirque.
What do you think about the weather?
Unfortunately, it's a bit disappointing. But this is the Cirque de Solitude. We've been here before in good weather.
Well, this is the first top of the Cirque de Solitude, and if you went through it, you'd come out to the Tigyetu hut where we were a couple of days ago.
Well, the main course is going to be salmon wrapped in these really fine, almost like phyllo pastry cases on a bed of spinach. There's going to be salmon with ginger and honey on a bed of spinach.
Yes.
Served with it, we're going to have a pasta dish made with fennel and lemon juice and creme fraiche, and a side dish of a slightly curry flavoured dal made with green lentils.
And what's for afters?
For afters we're having hand-picked off the tree figs. We're just going to stew them now. Corsica is an amazing island. The mountains rear up from the coast plain, up to 7,000 feet high, and we cycle from the sea now, up the Fango Valley, and you've got the red granite mountains ahead of us, with the whole of Paglia Orba just showing at the top. That's for next time. Now we're on this track here, with the house just coming up, must be about here I think. We're just going to cycle to this bridge. Friday, and we're doing a long bike ride down into the remote Castagnnicia Valley, which is a national park area again, with the rare Corsican nuthatch. We've got the tourist information that side and the post office this side, and the post office must have a log burning stove inside it. Have a look at the log stack. Everywhere at this time of year you'll see in the woods lots and lots of wild cyclamen. They're all really lovely, just at the best now. There are lots of juniper bushes on Corsica, and this is one here, and it's got green immature berries on it. And then up at the top here, these must be last year's, I don't know, perhaps, or just ripened this year. Juniper. The locals make walking sticks out of them. Bernard had made a walking stick.
Not out of the berries, out of the wood.
Yeah, the locals make walking sticks out of the wood of the juniper. Bernard showed us one he'd made recently last night, and it was made out of the juniper from outside his front door. But it's made up of layers. When you break it, look at the colour of that, it's lovely. Reached the end of the made-up road now, and this is where you have to leave the car. It's a really nice spot, lots of little car park, and we'll have to come again here and explore further, because there are paths up the Castagnnicia Valley that way to the base of Mount Corona.
Here we have Friday's dinner spot at the end of the Tartazine Valley. And here we have my dinner, which is leftovers from 2 nights ago's evening meal, which is tagliatelle with rocket and fennel and creme fraiche. Very nice. So what day is it now?
This is Saturday, our last day of this holiday, and we're doing a circular walk to try and find the ruined castle, which is on a ridge above the village. But we're struggling on this path at the moment, and I'm hoping to walk to a chapel in a minute, and by the chapel, it's on a ridge. We can follow the ridge up then to the top of the summit ridge and turn right and walk to the castle.
What's happening now? Is it difficult to follow this path?
Well, it's just showing us a dashed black line on the map, but I think I've seen the main path now down in this little low valley. So we're just having to go through this fence and scramble down this rocky slope. We've just discovered the chestnut grove that the villagers of Saliceto must still use today, with all the nets waiting to be hung out. Our final evening, and we're doing a food foraging walk around the village. There are lots of fig trees all around the villages. George has been gorging himself on them wherever possible. This is some sort of plum, I think. Still quite hard. Not quite ripe yet, but they're only a lovely colour. Next to the fig tree there's an almond tree, and a lot of them have lost their outside cases and they're still on the tree. The blackberries, this is one thing we could eat. Blackberries everywhere, but the thorns on the bramble bushes are just terrible. And if you're having lamb for tea, you just walk down the road and you pick the rosemary off the side. Here's another thing, there are lots of lovely ripe sloes at the moment. Hazelnuts, they're just falling off the trees everywhere around here, and they look delicious.